Good morning, everyone. My name is Reggie Nice. I'm with Pivot Talent Group, and today Pivot is offering resources to individuals who are struggling with job placement or even just with job loss during this COVID-19 season. It's been a hard season for everyone, and so Pivot wants to come and provide resources, quick resources. We call them pivotal moments, where we could just hit you with 3 minutes of just knowledge to help you as you're navigating through this season. Today with us, we have Caroline Johnston, who is our.
Hi.
Hey, Caroline, how are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. Caroline serves as the business developer for Pivot Talent Group.
Yeah.
Caroline, first of all, what does a business developer do for Pivot?
Yeah. So what I do for Pivot is I basically form relationships with businesses in the community, whether that's the owner, the recruiter, the HR director, the hiring manager, whoever that is. I form a relationship with them to explain to them and really let them know what Pivot's all about. And then so that I can learn about job opportunities that they have, and then we could then refer our candidates and hopefully have job placement. So I try and help make that connection between our candidates and job seekers to the businesses.
Oh, wow. That sounds great. That sounds great. So in that role, I'm sure you've met so many people who are looking for jobs, and
Oh, yes.
you've talked to so many people who are hiring those individuals.
Yes.
So can you give us 3 tips that individuals can do to enhance their job search right now?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing that I would say that you need to do is you need to know where to look for jobs.
Okay.
Be an active participant in your own, future in your own job search. And so where you can go to Indeed, you can go to LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter. There's a lot of different platforms that you can use, but what you should do is set up notifications. You could set up daily, weekly. You could specify, how many miles from your house you want the job to be, what the job role is. Is it full time? Is it part time? So be as specific as you can and put in into one of these search browsers. Let's say it's LinkedIn. Put
Okay.
in what you want to look for and set up a daily notification for yourself. So what it would do, it would email you as soon as one of those jobs pops up, or even a job that's kind of similar to it, it would probably email it to you. So that would be the first thing I would do, is set that up,
Okay.
know where to look and set it up. Be active in that. But that ties into the second point I would make is try and be within the first 25 applicants. And so if you're on LinkedIn, you know what this means. Basically, it will tell you on LinkedIn on a job how many applicants there are. And it's so disheartening when you see it say, "Oh, there's 64 applicants
Right,
already."
right, right.
And what happens is that it'll also tell you on LinkedIn, be within the first 25. This is a new opportunity. And as a recruiter, I've heard from a lot of recruiters, I get bombarded with
Mm,
applicants for roles, especially when it's a role that a lot of people really want, right? Or have the skill set for.
right.
So if you're applying and you're like, "Oh, I'll get to that in a few days," right? No, you're not going to have the advantage. And so it's really important that when you see that, you're ready to go. You apply and you're one of the first ones so that you can hopefully stand out, and it gives you that advantage for a recruiter, so that you're not the 100th person applying, you're the 5th person applying, and that's really important. So that would be the second thing. The third thing I would recommend is basically make sure your resume, your LinkedIn, your cover letter, make sure that is all ready to go.
Okay.
And with that, when you apply for a job, you should always use a PDF version, a non-editable version of your resume, but always have an editable version of it available for yourself, so that when you see an opportunity pop up,
Okay.
you can alter your resume a little bit. You're not lying, it's nothing like that. But when you have your resume, you only put like 10 skills on there, but
Right.
we all have more than 10 skills. And sometimes what happens is when someone writes the job rec for a position, they're going to list their requirements and certain skills that they're looking for. And if you have those, but they're not necessarily on your resume, put them into your resume, because sometimes they use programs that narrow down just by your skill set
Okay.
or the minimum requirements. And if you don't have those listed, they just immediately disqualify you from the position, even though you may really have that skill set.
That's
You know what
good.
I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it just may automatically disqualify you if you just didn't happen to put those on your resume. If you're like, oh, I already made a resume and I'm just using it every time, but you don't change it and adapt it,
Keep it
then it
fresh.
could put you, yeah, keep it fresh. It could put you at a disadvantage. So that's what I would say. Set up notifications and know where to look. Um, Try and be within the first 25 applicants,
Like that.
and then make sure that your resume is, like you said, Reg, staying fresh, keep it editable, make sure you have it ready to go, but kind of tweak it when you need to, just the verbiage a little bit, depending on the role that you're applying for.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. So they've done all of that, and so
Okay.
now they get called in or for a phone interview, video interview,
Yeah.
whatever. What are some steps they could do to get ready for that interview?
Sure. I mean, it's so funny having this conversation now because it's not in person, right? So
Right.
many interviews
Zoom.
is virtual, is Zoom interviews. And so a lot of the same things that would happen in a regular interview would be the same over Zoom. You're just tweaking it a little bit. So, when you're going into an interview, you have to know, I mean, the basics is, are you dressed professionally, right? So grooming is still the same. You could wear shorts on from the waist down, that doesn't matter. But
How'd you know?
right? They won't know. Waist up, look professional, of course. If you're in person, you would be shaking their hand and you would say, hi, Mr. Nias, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for taking this time to interview me. It would be the same on a Zoom call. So you're introducing yourself, you're being appreciative, you're thanking them so much for taking the time. And it's the same at the end, right? At the tail end of your interview, you're always thanking them for their time. So I would still dress professionally, still be thankful and professional in the way that you speak. But with that, obviously set up your environment to where whatever you have to do, if you have kids, to quiet them down, make it a professional environment as best as you can, good lighting for a video call. But also be confident, know your skills, know your strengths, reread that job rec that they posted that you applied for. I mean, even have it with you, study it. So much of this is about preparation. So are you reading what they're looking for, and then you're bringing that into the interview with specific examples of how your strengths can really help to do that and show that you do that, right? And so and also what I hear so many times from recruiters and those who do interviews is they say, at the end of an interview, we ask, do you have any questions for us? And they hate it when people say no. And so they do. So it's really important that you have an answer and a question ready to go before you go into that interview. And so what that means is you're most likely going to look up that company online and you're going to do a little research. And it could be as simple as saying, how long have you worked for this company? How long have you worked for Pivot, and how have you liked working for them? Like, share your experience with me. It can be something like that. Even that's simple question that you could ask them. So do some research on the company, have a question prepared, know what your skills are, and be confident in that and be able to speak into the job requirements that they've, listed out. And then I would say, if there's something like a gap in your resume or a weakness, you have, because we all have them, that's in the workforce, right? In your working world, be ready to eloquently explain that. When you're stumbling over an answer of like, oh, well, like when there was a gap, let's say someone had a baby and she took time off. If you're speaking into that with confidence and with, yes, I had a gap, and you're constantly spinning it in a positive way, but I have been working on this to keep sharp, to continue to sharpen my skill set. And this is what I've been doing, and I am ready to go. And I know I would be a great fit for this. As long as you're speaking confidently about it, that is really attractive to employers, and they may understand more why you had a pause, right, in your employment or whatever that was, if you're able to really speak into it in a professional way. So, be professional, know what you're going to wear, be prepared, do some research, and practice.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love just being prepared, coming in authentic, and don't lie, right?
Right. You're not lying.
Right.
You have those skills, but it's preparing yourself to say, oh no, I need to, I need to speak into that and show them that.
That's right. That's right. Well,
Yeah,
I love it. And thank you for joining us on this pivotal moment. And
absolutely.
I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks for joining us for this pivotal moment. I want to thank Caroline Johnston again for her words. Be sure to visit us at pivottalentgroup.com for more resources and update. And if you're looking for a job, go ahead and drop your information on the website, and we'll have someone contact you. Thank you, and have a great day.